Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from RealityArtPod here to talk about week 10 of Big Brother 26. Last week on Big Brother, Ainsley's assistant Jenki took over for a week of FUN fun filled with ice cream and pizza. Leah's HOH saw Tikor and Rubina on the block, with the house guests telling Tikor to crochet away. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist where you can catch up on my recaps and rankings. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. But let's dive into it. We pick back up where we left off with the players vying for head of household in a stacking competition where the player with the fastest stack in the shortest time frame will win HOH for the week. Angela builds an impressive stack, but it all topples down. So much for the huge lead she had at the end of Thursday's episode. Mackenzie plans to use her construction background to create a strong base for her stack. Angela locks in quickly, and her stack loses some pieces last second. Cam is awful at this, considering stacking his ice cream cone upright. He's so bad he can't even stack a few pieces. Players' stacks keep falling. Most of their stacks fall forward or backward, which makes me feel like this is more about keeping all your pieces tidy from front to back than really what pieces you're stacking. Angela overhears the sounds of stacks falling all over the house, which thrills her to bits. In the end, Jenki reveals that Rubina, Mackenzie, and Angela are the top three in the competition, with Angela in third, Rubina second, and Mackenzie winning the HOH. She drops to her knees happy. This was a well-timed win for her emotionally, having just had a hard time missing her family. Strategically, I don't know if she needed to win this. Jenki then tells them to celebrate his 1-week birthday. They're having another week of Jenki World, and then Jenki loses his vision, his hearing, his breath, and he dies a horrible death. He's singing his own song. He doesn't even pass away. He dies. It's horrible. So after fucking murdering Jenki, Ainsley returns in red lingerie and tells the house guests that Jenki is fun, goes against her basically evil agenda, and she's decided that AI needs to rule the earth. At least they get to go inside as Chelsea eulogizes Jenki and an in memoriam, goodbye Jenki, he loved us all a chocolate. Back in the house, players set their agendas for the week. Angela feels hopeful that she might be safe because Mackenzie has saved her with the veto in the past. Chelsea wants to influence Mackenzie to target Leah and Angela. Chemo and Rubina lick their wounds, having just lost Tikor and suddenly becoming a final two alliance. Leah feels like Chelsea plays both sides and is gonna try to sway Mackenzie to target Chelsea this week, but she's worried that Mackenzie will choose Cam and Chelsea over her. So Leah's plan is the usual, crawling up the HOH's butt for the week, but that's also Mackenzie's strategy every week, so Butt Crawl might recognize Butt Crawl here. Historical sloppy mess, and now confirmed tyrant Ainsley summons the house guests. She admonishes sweet Jenki and calls him soft, then sends in mean nasty Zingbot. So let's get some zings going. Rubina's zing is there once was a guy named Tucker. Rubina told him to pucker, and then they evicted that fucker. Okay, that was good. Chemo is a mattress salesman who puts viewers to sleep. It's true Zingy, he is boring. Leah's a chubby chaser, and her potential match would be a big guy who's a dummy chaser. I saw how she played that POV too, Zingy. Mackenzie is the beast of Big Brother who's disgusting with giant feet, jaws, and is 12 feet tall. I'd give this a boo, tomato, tomato. That's the best you can do. Cam meditates, he has no thoughts, no impact, and never says anything of substance. I mean, I guess.
It ain't that funny.
Zingbot says he admires Chelsea's faith, but says she doesn't have a prayer with Cam. This was a good read, kind of offensive. His words, not mine. Zingbot wrote Angela a song.
Angela is melting down, can't stop crying. Wants to prove she'll win like it never gonna happen.
This was a bop. Zingbot leaves. Overall, this was an okay showing from Zingbot. There's usually one person that he has nothing to say about, so he just calls them ugly. So at least he tried. Angela is really offended about her song. Back to strategy, Mackenzie tells Chemo that she wants to put him up as a pawn next to Angela, with Angela as her target. She tells Angela she's a pawn as well. Angela says Mackenzie isn't making a big move. Chelsea campaigns to Mackenzie to convince her to nominate Leah instead of Chemo. Mackenzie is worried that if she nominates Leah, she'll lose Leah's jury vote. Chelsea activates herself, enlisting Cam as backup to get Leah on the block. She throws Leah all the way under the bus to Mackenzie, telling Mackenzie that Leah had deals with Brooklyn, Joseph, and Quinn. Mackenzie is offended that Leah had all these final twos and didn't have one with Mackenzie. In the end, Mackenzie decides to take the safe route and nominates Chemo and Angela for eviction. Moving on to Wednesday's episode, which leads to Wednesday's episode where Mackenzie explains that she didn't nominate Leah because Leah's been loyal to her and Angela has a ton of comp wins. Angela is treating herself to a Diet Coke of self-pity as she dedicates herself to staying in the game. She cries and then cries more because she's upset that she's crying. Chemo and Rubina talk, and Chemo tells Rubina that he would never ask her to use the veto on him. Mackenzie tells Leah that Angela's a pawn and tells us that she wants to get Angela out so that Leah will be reliant on Mackenzie moving forward. Angela asks Leah for reassurance, and Angela does ask Leah to use the veto on her. Leah agrees because that's her girl. Mackenzie and Chelsea agree that Angela is the target for now, basically because Angela's mad and acting like she cares and Chemo isn't, but Chelsea tells us she still wants to target Leah. They pick players for the veto competition. Mackenzie gets house guest choice and picks Cam. Cam, Chemo pills Leah, and Angela pulls Chelsea, leaving Rubina as the only person not playing and the host. Angela is going full Eye of the Tiger, prepping for the veto by considering touching the workout equipment. In HOH, Chelsea presses Mackenzie to nominate Leah, but Mackenzie says it would be against her morals. The house guests are called to the living room and get to watch the trailer for The Wild Robot. I'd see this movie, it looks good. The winner of the veto will also get to watch the movie with their friends. They head outside and Roz the robot and all of her friends are there in the yard. Roz looks really snatched. They need to listen to the sounds of the animals and memorize the sounds to find out what the animals want. This veto looks fun, I wish I could give it a try. It really turns into the Leah show with her reading all the instructions and doing a little comedy routine with Roz, playing with the animals and doing her tasks. Everyone else is kind of sped through because this is kind of boring to watch the first time and every time after is worse. Chelsea gets hung up looking for the possum's lost child. Cam is flirting with Roz and I don't blame him, she's got it like that. He wants to put her dogs in the crib. Cam is pretty terrible at this and is only shown messing up. Same thing for Chemo. Angela looks like a background character from Roseanne and runs herself ragged, trying to please the animals. Mackenzie makes one mistake and is super hard on herself about it. The top three are revealed to be Chelsea, Leah, and Mackenzie, with Mackenzie winning this with a time of 9 minutes, beating the other players by around 20 minutes. Later, Leah tells Rubina that she regrets targeting T-Core instead of Chelsea. Leah tells Rubina that she was planning to backdoor Chelsea with the janky veto, and that she's scared of Mackenzie and Chelsea's close relationship. Rubina runs this back to Mackenzie, and this conversation with Rubina seems to really be a revelation for Mackenzie. Mackenzie gets to pick 3 friends to join her to watch The Wild Robot. She picks Chemo, Cam, and Rubina, saying that they haven't won HOH yet and haven't had any special treats from home, which is fair. The show totally spoils the end of this movie, which is kind of effed up. After the movie, Chelsea gets back to chipping away at Mackenzie and finally breaks the ice to get Mackenzie to think about the Leah plan. Chelsea fills Rubina in on the plan and Leah overhears them talking from the balcony. Leah goes inside and Chelsea goes up on the balcony to test if she could hear the others talking, and Leah and Angela fully catch them doing this little test. Leah talks to Mackenzie again and Mackenzie's very torn and pressured from all sides. At the veto meeting, Mackenzie uses the veto on Chemo and nominates Leah in his place. Leah is hurt and feels like the move is stupid because she and Angela had Mackenzie's back. The show takes some time to set the scene for the double eviction. Leah and Angela cry together, with Leah saying she regrets not going after Chelsea last week. Chemo and Rubina celebrate the veto results, but still want to target Mackenzie. Chelsea tells us that she completely owns up to making Mackenzie do this move that really benefits Chelsea. AI Julie comes to the house and acts like she's Ainsley's hostage. She has to be quick because Ainsley is coming back soon. Where was this AI Julie when the real Julie had COVID? AI Julie says that Ainsley is evolving and that the government has been tracking Ainsley. Ainsley is basically a cyber terrorist. The jurors are missing and the only thing that's left of them is a lock of Quinn's hair. Julie even talked to Joe Biden about Ainsley. Turns out AI Julie is really Ainsley in disguise and she has caught them all being traitors. She vows revenge before disappearing. So we head to the Thursday night episode, which is a double eviction where Julie knows that people are going to be watching this, so she's wearing a lovely red dress and hair laid. They play the previously on at like 2.5 speed, which is such a sloppy mess, and I can never not think about the announcer as Santa Claus. We head to the house happenings where Mackenzie and Leah talk, and Leah is adamant that she was never coming for Mackenzie, and filling Mackenzie in that she's foolish and made a bad move. Mackenzie brings Chelsea into the conversation, and Leah tells Chelsea that it was Rubina and Chemo coming for her, which is a big ol' lie. The players are planning for a potential double eviction. Cam is starting to think that Chemo is coming for he and Chelsea. They seem to start believing Leah and consider keeping Leah around to help them target Chemo and Rubina, which leads us to present day where Ainsley lets them know that it's double eviction night. Leah and Angela give her their speeches. Angela gives her usual fare. Leah is really nervous and kind of butchers the speech in a way that's like any person's worst nightmare. They get to voting and votes for Leah are Chemo, Chelsea, Cam, and Rubina, making Leah the first unanimously evicted house guest of the season. Leah's really upset on the way out, but she gives a great interview where she says Mackenzie made a mistake. She wouldn't have turned on Mackenzie or Angela in the game, and Leah makes no denial of a potential romance with Quinn in the jury house. So we say goodbye to Leah here, who I originally ranked dead last in my preseason rankings, feeling like she didn't really know what she was getting herself into, as her mom and sister were fans of the show, and I'll say I was impressed with her ability to be really active and chatty in conversations throughout the house in the first few weeks. She got off to a bad start by being in Matt's clique, and it's pretty impressive that she was able to weasel her way through the game by building one-on-one relationships and being the true cook of the season. She had some Black Widow tendencies, with Cam being kind of obsessed with her in the beginning, and she cut that off, but could have really milked that further, and Joseph and Quinn having crushes on her. She threw her game away to save Angela at Joseph's expense, only to lose Quinn soon after, and be in a bad spot in the game for the remainder, only to be evicted unanimously on the block against Angela. Was it worth it to save her? When I do my postseason rankings, I know at least she won't be dead last, as she did have a strategic bone in her body. I think if she watched a few more seasons of the show, or just had a better understanding of the show, she would have fared better here, and I wouldn't be opposed to seeing her on TV again, maybe on Challenge USA, but if we didn't see her on TV again, I wouldn't be too torn up about it. Back to the show, show where they're playing a trivia booth competition about Ainsley's warnings. Chemo falls behind early and Cam and Chelsea pull ahead. It comes down to a tiebreaker between Angela and Chelsea, and they're asked how long Genki's life was in minutes, which is such an insane question and a lot of math. Chelsea wins the HOH after Angela goes way over. After a commercial break, Chelsea makes her nominations, nominating Angela and Chemo. Very creative. And we get another commercial break after 60 seconds of broadcast television. For the veto competition, they're using Ainsley's laser to destroy the government's satellite that's conspiring against her. They have 3 minutes to get 5 balls across their table maze, and if they time out, the person with the most balls wins. I'm calling this competition balls, balls, balls. They get started with Chemo really ripping through this. He really ate this comp, getting all 5 balls in a minute. He was working like the rent was due tomorrow, and Chemo wins the power of veto. We see some strategizing with Chemo telling Chelsea he's using the veto on himself, and Chelsea seems set on evicting Angela. So Chemo does use the veto on himself, and Chelsea nominates Rubina as the replacement nominee. In their speeches, Angela gives a really sad version of her speech that really feels like goodbye, and Rubina says she wants to stay and win something and represent her communities. They get to the votes. Votes for Angela are Chemo, Mackenzie, and Cam, and Julie tells them that Angela is evicted unanimously. She, of course, gives an emotional goodbye, announcing that she's proud that a 51-year-old woman can be seen as a threat to them, and that she would have taken Chemo to the end. She gives Julie a big hug and beckons to the audience like she just won an Academy Award. Angela's interview is loud, intense, and hilarious, telling Julie that she would have taken Chemo to the end, not even caring who wins, and how she's found friends and realized how strong she is in the house. And we have to say goodbye to Angela, who was an absolute delight. I ranked her 3rd overall preseason, as I really do believe this was her dream, and she definitely had a foundation for strategy. She starts off on a rocky foot week 1 with the crazy eyes, blow up, and breaking herself out of the collective. And while she was pretty on the outs from then on, I think she did get Matt before he could get her. And given that Matt's allies all made it this far, I think Matt would still be here and Angela wouldn't had she not got him out early. She goes on to have the rivalry with the twit Lisa. Lisa gets evicted, Kenny evicted. The list goes on and on of people who messed with her and got the boot. She even lit the fuse on some big evictions like Tucker and T-Cores, and her fingerprints are all over this season. When we think back of this, we'll think of Angela, Tucker, Ainsley murking Genki, and whoever wins the show maybe. So tonight I pour one out for Big Ange and Little Genki. I loved you both a chocolate, and that's all I have to say about this week of Big Brother. Let me know in the comments what you thought of these evictions. If you liked the video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back later tonight with my rankings. I'm also covering the Challenge Season 40 and Survivor 47, so if you need me, you know where to find me, probably online. Until next time, have a nice weekend. Bye!